Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed the Chapter 1 assessment yesterday. If you didn't take it, then it's on you to set up a time with me this week so we can get that taken care of during my office hours, because if it's not done by the end of this week, it'll be a 0. Anyways, today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at finding the slope of a line without actually graphing those points. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the screen. So, while finding the slope of a line that goes through the points 6, 5, and 3, 7, Gloria figured that delta y, or our change in y, is -2, and that delta x, or our change in x, is 3, without graphing. So, our task is to explain how Gloria could find the horizontal and vertical distance of the slope triangle without graphing, and then draw a sketch of that line to validate her method. And then we have to determine what is the slope of the line. So first and foremost, we need to make sure that we note that we have the point 6, 5 and the point 3, 7. She's already determined that our delta y is -2 and that our delta x is +3. So what Gloria is already telling us is that if our slope is delta y over delta x, that it is -2/3, or just -2/3. And so if we know that that's our slope, we just need to figure out how to find that without graphing it. And so I'm going to tell you guys how. So if we take a look at our points, you know that our ordered pairs are x and y, correct? So we have x and y, we have 6, 5, and we have 3, 7. So our x components, I'm going to highlight in green, and our y components, I'm going to highlight in purple. And so now we know the different parts and pieces of our ordered pair. And so if we are trying to find the slope, we need to find our change in y and our change in x, don't we? So if we take a look, the difference in my x values, to set that up, I would have 6 minus 3 is 3. So my delta x is 3, and that lines up. And so since I did 6 minus 3, so I did my top one minus the bottom one, I'm going to do the same thing for delta y. And for delta y, I have 5 minus 7, and that's going to equal -2. So -2 is my delta y. And remember that our slope is our ratio of our change in y to our change in x. So again, if the slope is going to be delta y over delta x, that means that it would be -2/3, or -2/3, which is exactly what Gloria got. Now, let's break it down a little bit better. So we call our ordered pairs their xy pairs. And so if I'm giving you two different points, I think that it's fair to label your points x1, y1, and x2, y2. Now, the reason why I use these subscripts is just so that way you know which xy values coordinate with each individual ordered pair, because a nice formula for finding your slope is actually doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so you can take your points and you can just pick one. Pick any point and make it your x1, y1, and pick any point and make it your x2, y2. So let's say if we're going across the x-axis, the point 3, 7 comes first before we hit the point 6, 5. So I'm going to make 3, 7 my x1, y1. And I'm going to make 6, 5 my x2, y2. Now I know that I'm going to have 5 minus 7 on the top. And I know that I'm going to have 6 minus 3 on the bottom. And that still gives me -2/3. But Mr. Hill, what if I accidentally put the points in the wrong order? Well, let's take a look. Let's say that you instead did 7 minus 5 on the top, but 3 minus 6 on the bottom. You get 2/3, which is still equivalent to -2/3, because whether the negative's in the denominator or the numerator, it's still going to make that fraction negative. So we have a negative slope of 2/3. Now, we know the slope of the line. We've decided that -2/3 is our slope. These two responses that we came up with, they're the same thing. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to draw the line to just make sure that everything's cool. Going to go ahead and sync the audio now. I'm going to go ahead and draw these lines real quick for our grid so that way we can graph the line to check our work. And so I look and I have the point 3, 7, and 6, 5. So I'm going to go over 3 and up 7. And then I have the point 6, 5. So I'm going to go over 6 and up 5. And now I've got my 2 points. Now if we make the slope triangle, I see that I'm going down 2 and I'm going over 3. So delta x is 3 and delta y is negative 2. So we've checked our work and we know that we're good to go. So now, my task for you is going to be to complete parts C, D, and E from the ebook. They're in the next couple of slides, so you may not see the C, D, and E, but I promise that's what they are. But you're going to use this new method, finding the change in y over the change in x, the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, to find the slope of the line through the points 4, 15, and 2, 11. And then you're also going to use Gloria and I's method to find the line that goes through the points 28, 86, and 34, 83. So remember, it's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And all that matters is that you're keeping your order of the points the same. So good luck, guys. Go ahead and go find the slopes of those lines, and I'll see you in the next one.